Hello, good evening, night owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again. We've got an incredible show lined up for you tonight as we celebrate all of the fiendish fun of Halloween. Ooh, hello. What do you...
Hey, what's up, world? Thank you for joining us on another episode of Think Outside the Box Office. We're continuing with more horror movies as we will through October. And this week, Tyler had a pick, and it is 2023's Late Night with the Devil. I loved it. Great film. I want to hear from Tyler exactly what made you pick this one as your pick, man, of all the horror movies out there.
So in the last few years, I haven't been able to watch a whole lot of movies. And one of the movies that I did get to watch that really stuck out to me was Late Night with the Devil. I thought it was an awesome concept and just an interesting take on like possession and, just, it was just a really solid horror movie. Not a lot of scares to be had, I didn't think, but
For sure.
just a really fun movie. I don't know. What about you, Derek? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I kind of got on the train for it really early on. I heard it was pretty spectacular in like the early screenings and stuff. Plus, the horror community wouldn't shut up about it, which was nothing but good things. So when it finally came out, I snatched it up and I gave it a whirl. And I agree with you, man. Like it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. It has a great atmosphere. It has some like good scares, but like the concept is awesome. Like late night, like talk show, like that's awesome. I think that's cool.
I will agree with both of you. It is really cool. I don't even know if I actually saw a trailer for this movie. I think I just like saw posters. I knew David Dastmalchian was in it, which was like a sell for me anyways because he's awesome. Uh, I don't watch a lot of like late night talk shows or anything like that, especially ones kind of similar to that where it's like a mix of game show almost slash talk show. Did you guys grow up watching stuff like that, like Conan, uh, old episodes of who was in the movie, Johnny Carson, and just different stuff? Were you familiar with that, guys?
Oh yeah, I grew up with a lot of it personally. I grew up with I think Carson, a little bit of Carson, or at least reruns of Carson, Leno, Letterman, and then before they all did the big switch with all the Jimmys and
Yeah,
all
right.
that. But like I watched a little bit of Conan stuff, but like growing up on that stuff, almost watching most of it till at least my high school years.
Right on. Tyler, what about you, man?
Yeah, never for me. It's something I missed entirely. I was aware of it, and as a kid, I would catch it on TV while other people were watching, but it's not something that I ever really got into.
Yeah, same here. I heard everyone wanted to talk about Conan, all the Jimmys, that Seth Meyers guy has one now, and all the old ones too. It was never my thing. But this movie from the start was really cool. It kind of gives you, I think Michael Ironside is the narrator in the beginning, who gives you kind of all the backstory stuff you need to know before the movie takes off. And then from there, to me, I was hooked. It was super cool. Quick rundown of the plot in a nutshell. Like we said, it is I believe Halloween night 1977 is the first night of sweeps weeks for these talk shows, which I guess can make or break your show, right? Like ratings need to be up so that you can get renewed, and audience and viewers need to be there and everything. So this guy, David Dastmalchian, playing Jack Delroy, I believe.
It sounds right.
He hosts his own show. It's called Night Owls, right? With Jack Delroy, which is a super cool title, I thought, right?
Awesome
Mhm.
title,
Yeah. Like
very fitting.
very fitting, very cool. And he has a hit show, but it is always falling second place to Johnny Carson on the ratings. So this year they are out to make it different. And so he has this special horror episode and shit goes from there. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's a lot of meat in between that we will get to.
Well, not only is he playing like second to Carson, he's also declining. Like his views and viewership is going down.
Right.
They don't think they're going to be renewed. Ever since the death of his wife, he takes a little hiatus, and then when he comes back, he never really has that same following that he did before. So this is like a last grasp at like trying to get renewed and get ahead of Johnny Carson.
Right.
And
A short hiatus, mind you, a short hiatus. I think they said it was only like a month.
He took a
And
month off.
he comes back. So
The wife is kind of important. Talking about that, the movie kind of pitches it as Jack Delroy and this actress. Her name was, they called her Minnie, right? But I believe it was Madeline, right?
Madeline
I don't
something,
remember her
yeah.
last name. And they were like this really cute, famous couple. Everyone was like, oh man, they'll go the distance. She gets sick. She gets terminally sick. She passes. Jack Delroy takes a month off from work. He comes back. He's on the air for a year. And in that year is when really the decline starts on his show. So that's why this sweeps week is very important for him to win over. Yeah. Just like a really cool premise. He had, it's just a typical late night show. He had a couple of guests. I think he was supposed to have a musical act at the end to kind of like send him off into the night.
right.
Really cool. And for his episode, he's chosen an occult themed episode, right? Ooh, supposed
Yeah.
to be spooky.
Trying to raise the stakes a bit.
Trying to raise the stakes. And did you guys have a favorite guest of his? Tyler, I'll start with you, man. What about you? Do you have a favorite guest?
I think they were all good, actually. Christu, I thought, was really good, like a really good example of like a medium.
Like a crossing over with John Edwards, kind of?
I
Like,
I don't know much about that, but
Oh wow, that's a
I'm
throwback.
aware
I
of.
haven't heard that in a fat minute. But yeah,
I think they kind of applied the same, like abilities, right? Same thing. Sit in front of an
Yeah.
audience, shout out names. Oh my God, you, yeah, right. But sorry, yeah, go on, Tyler. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah, I think the whole setup was really smart to have like someone who could or could not be telling the truth about their powers, and then you bring on a skeptic, and then you bring on like what you interpret to be like the final act, because like in his mind, I think he assumes that she's telling the truth and that she's gonna not fool, but like convince the skeptic of everything being real. It's all gonna happen on live TV, and yeah, I think all three guests really play their part well.
For sure.
And
Go on, you, Derek. You got a favorite?
I would definitely say it's the dude with the wicked like facial hair and the like velvet jacket. I can't remember his name.
You're
I
talking
think
about
it'd be
the skeptic, right? Carmichael Haig.
yeah,
Carmichael.
dude. I love the fact that he brought up so many different points to kind of counter what Lily was talking and like what she was kind of presenting, and even with Christo, like kind of what he was doing. Like he kind of had his finer points of like pointing them out. And I liked his notion of being like, look, like we believe there are weird stuff out there, but there's also charlatans, and we're here to like sort out both, which I thought was really cool. And that we'll get to it later, but that hypnotized scene was freaking insane and wild.
Dude.
I definitely enjoyed his character the most. I mean, Lily was cool and all, but it's like that's what you expect when that's the main draw, I guess. And Crystal wasn't terrible. Did his part fine all the way up until like curtains, but
I'll agree. Carmichael Haig, I think, was my favorite. Tyler, I guess I really didn't think about how the order went, and you made a good point. He brings on someone first with this Christu guy, who, like I said, he applies these techniques where, he's like, all right, I'm hearing a name, and you just shout out a fairly common name, you know what I mean? In an audience of 100, I bet if you go, I'm hearing John, someone is going to be foolish enough to be like, my dad's name is John. And he's like, yeah, you, right? Let's talk about it. And so you're right. You can't really prove if it is or is not happening. And then to bring on the skeptic, which was awesome. And then to put the icing on the cake with Lily and Dr. June, I believe was her name. So yeah, the order was sold it. And honestly, during Kristoff's bit, I was hooked, right? Like, I thought it's very cool to watch that happen, I think, even if you think it's bullshit.
Yeah. What I thought about was cool about Christu was that he, like you said, he's employing all these techniques that like mentalists and mediums have been doing for a long time, where you start vague and you kind of let the audience narrow in your focus on someone. And I thought it was neat that like he got the first one wrong. Like that guy was cracking me up talking about his ex-wife and
his golf swing, yeah.
he was like, he said his own name and he's like, no, that's not it. And he's like, well, it has been ever since,
It's
like,
been there for 42 years.
That part was cracking me up. And then he employs another technique, which you kind of got to be paying attention to So like he calls on the family and he gets all that stuff right, and it's like he seemingly has been talking to their dead son and brother. And then if you see during one of the breaks, the skeptic guy goes over and talks to them, and he's like, "Okay, so you say there was like a questionnaire before you came on, and someone was
Right.
asking questions in the lobby, and that's like a trick that they use." And there's also I've heard of in real life people using like microphones in the audience so they can hear
Ooh.
people talking, whispering like, "Ooh, maybe they'll talk to Edwin, or maybe they'll talk to Diane
Peterson,
or whoever."
Pyramid or
Right.
whatever.
So I thought it was neat how they kind of employed some of those tricks, and then so you see him fail, you see him succeed with one of his little tricks, and then you see him what appears to be him actually having a reading. And I thought it was good, like the contrast between when he was faking it and when he was like really
Oh, for sure.
like somebody please take the call kind of thing.
Take the call. I did like that. Yeah.
Before he goes all full exorcist and starts like, projectile vomiting black tar.
Dude,
I didn't understand why. What was the host name?
Jack Delroy.
Jack
Delroy.
Delroy. I didn't understand why Jack didn't like say right away, "Oh, Minnie, that's for me," you know.
I did wonder about that. Like, why would you not just, yeah, I was kind of like, why would you come back and do that? Especially if you knew, or if you thought that, the three clues, right? Minnie, the unmarried man with the wedding ring, and I think there was another clue on there. Like, if you thought all that was aiming at you, why didn't you just, hey, I actually think this one's for me. Maybe I should take that because you look like you're really struggling over there. So yeah, I did wonder that too. That is a good point.
I think that maybe he thought Christy was faking. So maybe he thought like, well, he's trying to feel someone out in the crowd. This can't be for me because I'm the host. He wouldn't do that.
For
But
sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think he thought it was a little too coincidental for it to be her. But then like once he kind of like started thinking about it, that's when he's like, oh, maybe it is. And that's when he took his sweet time to say like, yeah, I'll take the call after the dude's like lying out on the floor. I did like the tidbits where he like he even Christy like knows there's something wrong. Like he's like, no, there's something wrong and there's something bad gonna happen. Like something's not normal. And it's so bad that like they take him away in the ambulance and you hear it because like Jack Delroy gets like distracted by it as they take off. And then it's like a few scenes later you find out he's dead. So
Yeah.
it like I'm assuming he got like maybe like an aneurysm or I guess something of the sort.
Uh,
Maybe or
Aneurysm.
some other
I think
supernatural.
did they say brain hemorrhage or something like that,
I
or
something.
aneurysm
It's so
hemorrhage?
brief,
Yes,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, that is wild. And this movie does a really good job of not only like leading up to the final act, but also kind of like the final twist as well, of like dropping these little things that I think once you think back on the movie, you start to realize like, oh man, maybe this was, foreshadow for this or like whatever. It's just really good at dropping the breadcrumbs for you to like piece together. This goes along. And yeah, just very cool thing. Let's talk about this second guest here, right? Carmichael Haig, my favorite on the show. He was a former magician, right? So he used to fool people, right, for a living, basically. And now he's like full-time skeptic. And him and I think he's got some, what they call it, some kind of organization, some kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know what the right
Yeah, it's
word
like a
is here.
scientific
Yeah, some kind of community, I
supernatural.
guess,
Yeah.
where, like you said, they believe this stuff is probably out there in the world, but they have a check for $500,000, right? $500,000.
Yeah, $500,000.
If you can prove whatever supernatural ability you claim you have. And lots of people have tried, and just as many have failed, which I think that's expected, right? The world is full of charlatans, people trying to pull one over on you guys. Yeah,
I was gonna say, I also feel like he's the one that kind of seeks them out too. He kind of goes out of his way to prove that they're charlatans. It's almost like a roadshow gig for him. I feel like he just goes, all right, well, this guy's done. Go to the next. Just kind of keeps on marching. I did like his approach was very. I don't want to say fanatical because that makes him sound like he's, I don't know, over the top, but he definitely kind of like he knows what he's talking about, and you know that he says it with like a reverence that it's like, oh, he knows what he's talking about because he's seen it, he's done it, he's experienced it,
Yeah, for sure.
and it's cool to see him kind of point out different things as the show goes on, and the interviews do too. And I like that about him because he seems to be like the general viewer, the general skeptic, you know. So
Yeah.
he pulled it off like marvelously.
I liked his presentation with like the sleight of hand when he first comes on screen, where he's got the
With the
cigar
cigar.
and he's like, "Ooh, where'd it go? Still got it," you know. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Look at
I
this
thought it was
flame
interesting.
come from my sleeve. Whoa.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that both of our last movies, this one and then Last Exorcism, both had former charlatans, as you said, and reformed skeptics who were trying to like prove that everything they used to do is fake.
Yeah, and both take the form of like very slow builds to get to an ending that just like pedals to the metal on you, right?
Right.
Like you get to like the last, in both movies, it was probably the last 10 minutes that were just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, whoa,
Yeah.
man, we hit the gas on this one. And it's cool because I think I used to not super be into that. Like I wanted something to kind of like, you know, you can bite off of as the movie goes on. But lately, I'm digging these slow burns. Like very, very cool. It might just be how they're done. You know what I mean? Like maybe they were just like the last one was like a mockumentary. This one was through like a 70s late night talk show kind of vibe, even to the point where you were seeing what went on behind the scenes in black and white, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that's one of the standout features I think of the whole movie was the whole thing set up like just one episode of the show. Like you have the background beforehand and then at the ending you kind of have some off-screen kind of stuff. But the meat, like most of the movie is just one episode of a late night show. So much so that, like you said, as soon as there's like a commercial break, everything goes black and white, and you start to get like the stagehands coming on and doing the makeup, and then you have the conversations between him and the showrunner, and then one of my favorite characters, his little sidekick, Gus.
Gus.
Yeah.
I loved his part of the movie. I like that he was kind of, oh, geez, man, it's kind of getting a little spooky out there. We all might jump ship.
Yeah, it was cool.
This is sorcery. We can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
You're meddling with things you don't understand, Jack.
I saw restraints in the back. It's like,
You
I thought
sure
that
it's
was pretty
safe to
funny.
do this kind of thing for the show? Yeah, he was a good character. Gus was a good character. So was a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, like you were talking about, like when it switches over and kind of shows, like it just keeps moving on. It doesn't beat. So I felt like if they would have done the approach of like a hard cut to like a fake commercial or something, it definitely would have like kind of slowed down and been a little weird. But it was cool to see them kind of like handle the situation that just popped off on TV, like gather themselves and then get back up, get ready for like coming back onto the air. So after the skeptic and the clairvoyant like kind of have their little spat, does it just go, do they jump to Lily next, right? Is that how the order goes?
Yeah. I don't remember if he meets backstage with her first before she comes on to kind of prep her. Or I think she comes out. Yeah, he tries to. Then she comes out and then like she has to like motion for Lily to come on because she's new to this.
Nervous or whatever, yeah.
I liked her entrance a lot, where she she walks out and she like stares directly into the camera and she's kind of like,
yeah,
she doesn't know what to do. I thought that was really good.
She played the part really well.
Creepy.
But before we dive into Lily's part, let's do a background recap on Lily and some of the meat and potatoes that we haven't talked about yet. Going into that, Lily, she's 13 when the movie starts. Her first 10 years of her life were spent in the house where this satanic cult, what did they call themselves? Did they have a name? I don't remember.
They had an order, but I can't remember what it was. But it's a cult that worships Abrax, the demon.
No, Abraxas.
Abraxas. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
I mean, it's the same. Yeah, whatever. It's all the name. Weirdo demon name. Yeah, Abraxas.
It matters, Chris.
It
Yeah,
matters.
there's too many of them, man. And get them confused. They get mad.
uh, they have this leader, this cult leader. His name is like Xandor Diabo.
I'm kind of
I think
impressed. I don't know if that's exactly it, but that's way closer than I could
it's
get.
Yeah.
I'm in
I'm
the
so
ballpark.
bad with names.
Yeah, like I had it before we started. Like I was repeating it in my head, like this Diabo, and now it's like it's gone. I think we're close, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're
And
in the ballpark at least.
yeah, he has this following, man, and they're satanic. And there was rumors of them breeding babies to sacrifice to this Abraxas demon, right? Which is just everything about every word in that sentence is just fucked up. Like just wow. And the cult gets discovered. Police and the cult have a 3-day shootout outside this house. Diabo orders everyone in the cult to light themselves in the house on fire, and the whole house burns down. And the only survivor is 10-year-old Lily, and she has been in the care of Dr. June, who she's like a parapsychologist. So she's got a kind of fancy supernatural psychic term for her as well. But she's been with her for 3 years, and they are appearing on Jack Delroy's show. And wow, what a backstory, guys. I mean, this cult seems like nothing to mess with.
I had trouble buying Lily as a 13-year-old.
You think she's older?
She looked older to me.
She probably is.
Yeah.
I'm,
did that-
I'm sure she is in real life, but I'm saying like it didn't really come across as 13 on the screen. Like they mentioned she's 13, but it didn't feel like she was.
For sure. I think, and I know it's like the 70s and like so fashion was already kind of like wonky, but like she's dressed very,
Modest.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Modest is the right word. Honestly, she kind of dresses like she dressed like a doll would, like a jean skirt into a like a
like a
top
flower
and then,
long sleeve.
yeah, you
like,
got like a white underneath, very just like she looked like an American Girl doll, honestly. And I think that's done on purpose to kind of help maintain that 13-year-old image because you're right. I don't know that she pulls off 13 exactly.
Yeah, her performance was good, but it's like, you can't hide
For sure. Yeah, for
how
sure.
old you are.
Yeah. So her and Dr. June come on to the show. Dr. June is already kind of like, okay, I'm up for an interview, but like as opposed to like sitting her down and like letting her do her demon thing, I don't know. And I thought like she was pissed that she ended up having to do it, right? Because I think that Jack kind of had the crowd, cheer him on, and he kind of put them on the spot. And I thought that was kind of dick of him, but she's pissed. So
You're saying she wasn't pissed to be on the show because she wanted
no.
the press for her book. You're saying she's pissed for doing the like summoning, I guess you would call it.
Right,
the
yeah, like
seance, yeah.
Jack was like, "Come on, guys, don't we want to see it?" or like whatever, and the crowd's like, "Yeah, do it," and then she agrees. I think they cut to commercial or whatever. Then she's like, "You ambushed me! Like, what the fuck?" Like, and
Yeah, it didn't take a whole lot of convincing though.
So she was very hesitant from the start. She's kind of talked to him backstage. She's like, look, like she's becoming more erratic. She's becoming more like in her fugue state, is what she says. So it's like making it sound like maybe it's not a good idea to perform this. We can still be on the show and talk about it. We just can't like perform or show or whatever. And then, yeah, she kind of gets forced into it by kind of like being pitted between like the skeptic, the Jack being like, oh, come on, and also the like, push from the audience. So I felt like she was just pressured to do it. And even when she agrees to do it, she's like, she snaps at him. She gets really pissed about it.
for sure,
And rightfully so. Because, you're playing with fire at that point, even if it's real or not. Like, it's like, okay, cool. How well is this going to work before it could go south?
In Jack's defense, she did know that was the plan before she came on.
I thought I kind of got the impression that like doing a summoning was like in the maybe pile, and then she was like, "Well, let's kind of maybe see how things go," and then but I mean, like on live TV, whether you want her to do it or not, if you have I don't know, let's say 100 people telling you like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," like it's going to be hard to make 100 people pissed off.
Right.
Plus Jack, who as we found out during the summoning, that her and Jack kind of have a interest in each other, right? Or maybe a little bit of going on.
Dr. June thinks you're very handsome.
Very handsome kid.
Heavily implied.
So just diving right into the summoning, right? Lily
Well, we also didn't talk about the Grove.
Well, I'm gonna get there. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
All right.
And so for the summoning, Lily she's strapped to a chair. Dr. June is sitting in front of her, facing her, and Dr. June, like Derek said, is very like, I need everyone to be quiet. Like, don't make sudden movements. Like, don't scream. Don't whatever. Like, this has to be very controlled. And I've got a lot of variables to think about while I do this.
Treating the girl like she's a velociraptor.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, and again, rightfully so. But yeah,
She's got-
so she's trying to keep it a very controlled environment.
Right. She's basically got Chris Pratt's like raptor clicker when he's like training Blue in the first Jurassic World.
Whoa.
He's like, whoa, click, 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 whoa, click, click.
It's a raptor
And
clicker.
she's got her there. She manages to summon Abraxas. Or I guess it's not Abraxas. It is a
Helper.
It's like a spokesperson for Abraxas.
right.
It's kind of how I took it.
Like a lesser demon that serves Abraxas, maybe was
Right.
Yeah,
Abraxas adjacent.
An
Right,
underling of an underling. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And it gets how did it start out here? She is looking down, does up, and her has like an emo hair right in her eyes, like all
Yeah, she got like the grub thing going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like everyone in the audience was like, whoa. And I was like,
Right.
is her eye a different color or something? It kind of was like, huh, okay.
Her face did look different when she looked up.
Well, for
Not
sure.
just because of the hair, like her eyes looked more sunken, and
Right.
she definitely looked a little more evil when she looked up. I don't know how the audience could have saw it that clearly, but they were definitely shocked. It was also the 70s. I mean, maybe it was a little easier to spook people back then, satanic panic and all that.
I think a lot of the design too was kind of to try to be akin to The Exorcist, which came out in the 70s too. Came out
Very much so.
74. So I mean, like that look of her being like possessed or whatever. I thought they did great because it's like subtle enough not to be like, oh, it's her, but it's like, well, wait, she's different. Like she looks different. And the subtle changes were nice.
Is that what a possessed person actually looks like though? Like I get if they modeled their look off The Exorcist, right? Like big movie, they want to do the same, copy it, cool, whatever. But like if Derek got possessed like right now, like is he gonna your skin, like you look like there's like cracks in your skin, your eyes are weirdo colors, your skin has like a very like matted but like almost greasy appeal to it. It doesn't have its like
Right.
shine and stuff. Like, is that what someone actually looks like when they're possessed? And I don't know if this can be confirmed or not, but like that seems kind of wild, right?
I think it depends on the demon. I mean, it just depends because so think about like Evil Dead. Evil Dead's possession, but it's not your typical demons, and they look sometimes very radical.
Sure.
Same thing with this movie. I feel like if you were to look, because like I don't know how much evidence there is of
Right.
what people look like when they're during an exorcism. It's like very radical. Even for the church, the okay one is like very rare. But I think it's interesting that that's their interpretation of what they look like
Sure.
health wise. Like their health starts to deteriorate, their skin complexion doesn't go the way it looks because their hygiene shit, the demon's hygiene shit. So I
Right.
don't know what one would look like, but to me it worked. It's
Yeah,
creepy enough, it's
for
weird
sure.
enough, but
Well, it's not even just like her physical appearance, but also her mannerisms,
the
her
cadence, yeah.
her voice,
Oh.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it all came together pretty well to showcase like this girl. This isn't the same girl we were just talking to.
Oh, for sure.
Right, yeah.
And props to her because I mean, it was pretty convincing. I think as an actor, as a young actress, she did a good job selling the possession.
Yeah. It was cool.
I enjoyed this possession, the way she looks a lot more. Like I just finished the Paranormal Activity movies, and in those you have like the demonic possession, and they look really like rampant and wild. They look more like beastly in those, and I didn't really dig it. Seeing this was a nice refresher. I was like, oh, now this is what a demonic possession looks like, and she did great. She killed it, like you said.
Yeah, I watch a lot of Supernatural, and the only thing they do to show that someone's possessed is like change the eye color to black. Like the whole eye just turns black or red
Yeah,
or
black
yellow,
eye.
depending on the demon. But
Right.
so this is a lot better.
Yeah, just Night Colors, like a lame, like tell me you're a TV show without telling me you're a TV show. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think they also do it in the show to like blend in more because there's like demons everywhere.
okay,
If
true.
you
I
listen to
guess.
Supernatural, like every 100th person is a demon.
Yeah, if you had some crusty person walking down the street that's possessed, you'd be able to pick them out pretty easy, I feel like. You'd probably smell them, just like, what's that sulfur smell? Oh,
Right.
it's that dude.
Someone's possessed.
So you talked about her voice. We've seen her appearance, right? She's all fucked up. She looks weird. She looks like Reagan from The Exorcist. Derek, you said it best. She starts spitting out some words. And some of that is she tells, I think one of the first thing is the demon, not Abraxas, is like, hey, Jack, good to see you again. Meaning they've had some past interaction. And of course, Jack Delroy's like, what? I don't know what he's talking about. That's crazy. And must be mistaken. And then I think she drops some other kind of vital information, right? The very
Talks about her
handsome
wife.
line.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
talks about his wife.
Yes. Yeah, she
And her dying, and then also talks about June finding him attractive, like Tyler said earlier.
very
And then
handsome.
He's very handsome.
kind of goes pretty raunchy with it pretty quick. Drops a couple F-bombs. One of them got
she does.
bleeped. But,
Yeah, I thought real quick that was a cool, like, the first one got past him, right? And then the second one
got caught, yeah.
second one got caught. Like, I thought that was like a cool, like, oh shit, like the editor guy was probably like, oh man, I wasn't ready for that one. I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly how they do it back then.
Right.
Well, I think the first time you hear voice change, he says something about time to make us look pretty again. And she says, don't I already look pretty? Doesn't her voice change on that?
That's
He
the
sounds
line.
like his wife, yeah.
Yeah, that's the line. I think he says something like, did that sound just like? And I think who's his like producer dude behind the scenes, his name Leo, with like the glasses and kind of like the hair. Who's
Very
just
good
like,
with names.
Yeah.
I could never
Yeah.
remember his name.
He's just like, yeah, whatever, Jack. I'm, think whatever you want. Look, we got to get this show rolling. Christoph has died, all this stuff. And then after that, of course, I think, which they do on all late night shows, at the end, you kind of have everyone that was a guest kind of like in the chairs around you, and you, I don't know, maybe recap and like whatever. And then they give Carmichael Haig, the skeptic, the chance to pitch in on what just transpired, right? And Derek, I'm gonna let you walk me through this one here. Walk me through Carmichael's illusion and what he thinks happened here. Like, let's break this down, guys.
So he seems to think that the doctor and I'm assuming Lily and those guys have kind of pulled an elaborate hoax of like hypnotizing the whole cast and kind of like getting them going and then more or less making them think they saw what they saw. And to prove his point, he brings out Gus to try and prove his example. And so he does the whole hypnotize thing. He does it to Gus, apparently everybody across the nation if they're watching, because he just does it on TV and the entire audience there. So immediately he starts kind of walking him through like, hey, like asking him a series of questions, and Gus starts reacting in a way that kind of shows that he's like becoming more uncomfortable. Like something started to irritate him, and then
He's
something
getting, like, hot
starts
under
to
the
get
collar.
at him. Yeah, something starts to get at him. He starts like pulling at his clothes, at his skin, and then it's like he gets so methodical with it that he ends up ripping chunks out, and that's when he sees the worms, and so he starts freaking out even more. The audience is freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. He starts tearing open himself, like he's doing all this nasty shit. Just worms coming out of him. It's getting really gross, really gory scene. And to prove his point, Carmichael just like does a little bing bang boom, little in quip, and it just cuts it. And the guy's like, what's going on? It's crazy. And his shirt's all off and over the shoulder, and everybody, it goes right back to normal. And everybody that was there and that experienced it, that was hypnotized, except for I guess a few people that they point out in the audience, saw the worms coming out of him. But the reality of it was, and they sit down to watch the tape later, is that he hypnotized him and made his biggest fear come alive. So he's suggesting that Lily and the doctor more or less pulled the same wool over the audience's like eyes and basically convinced them that they were talking to the devil. So that was his argument with examples of what to do, but it was insane. It was a great scene, but it was
Oh, yeah.
insane.
Yeah, for
I was
sure.
not expecting it to be, because he kind of plays it off at first. He's like, "Oh wait, this isn't supposed to happen. What do we do?" You know, this is like,
Yeah.
does his spiel, and it's just like done, over. So
I liked Gus's little line when he's got like sitting there on the chair with his like shirt wide open, and he's like, "So when are we gonna get started?"
yeah, he does. He's totally oblivious. Yeah, and then
Yeah, that was cool. And we had all seen this before, right? Like this was all not
yeah,
our first time. So the first time I saw this, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago, as soon as Gus starts pulling like the worms and stuff out, right? Like the gory scene, I was sitting there like, is this how Gus dies? And I was like, I don't know that I remember all this. And I was like, well, maybe it's not. And then, like you said, Carmichael starts freaking out, like, oh my God, this wasn't supposed to happen. What's going on? And then I was like, oh man, wait, maybe this is. So then he snaps it. And then I ended up being a loser that got fooled. So I think
yeah,
I fell for it. So, I'll wear that with pride, I guess. But yeah, it might be one of the first scenes where maybe you start to realize what you're getting into in this movie, right? Or
Mhm.
like what's to come. Because I think
yeah,
the craziest thing before this, and obviously maybe was the summoning where she had the demonic voice, her skin was all broken like Reagan. The chair levitated, right? Like
Yeah.
she was
Yep.
floating in the chair, which we
yeah,
forgot to mention, which even this, like Jack Delroy, because I was like, Carmichael, explain that, man. Like, you're such a skeptic. Fucking tell me how she floated a chair in front of all of us, right? Go ahead.
I
Lay it
do
on me.
like, I do like how he was like, I'm dying to see how you're going to explain this away."
Right. Yeah. Like, even he was like, "There's no way." And,
Well, then his
so,
explanation, like his little demonstration, was like pretty convincing. It's like, well, maybe they did hypnotize everybody.
yeah.
for sure.
It had you thinking for sure, like a skeptic would have you be doing. Like I said, he pointed out all the finer points of an argument of being like, look, is it really real? Or can you trust yourselves to believe what you saw? But then, so he shows the tape and shows it to everybody, showing what really happened. Everybody's like, oh, wow, we had one pulled over on us. And then Lily makes the suggestion of being like, well, show back the tape for me earlier. Because if anything, that'll prove that either this is a hoax or this is real. And of course,
Yeah.
Jack's like, let's do it. And so they do. And that's when they find out that her experience and her whole deal was as real as the hypnotizing trick he just did. And so he's kind of left there like flabbergasted. He's just like, I don't know how you did it, but I know there's a reasonable explanation for it. I want my team to look at it whenever they can so we can like figure out what's going on, because like even though he's seen it and he agrees that what he sees on tape or film or anything, that it has to be truth, that he is inevitably like now questioning everything. He's just like, I don't know, like he sees it, but he's just not, he can't accept it.
Yeah, he cannot accept that or
Yeah.
whatever. Before we dive into what happens at the end, Tyler, you mentioned earlier the Grove. The Grove is, I believe, and I might be wrong. Guys, correct me. I think it's a real thing, or was, or something very similar existed, where rich, elite, powerful men would gather, and I don't even know how to like.
It's
They
it's
would
a reference to Bohemian Grove, which is, it's like, I was looking it up a little bit today. It's like a campground in California
California, right? I believe.
where rich and powerful men go to have basically like a summer camp. But it's very like secretive. There's no cameras allowed. So it's led to a lot of like conspiracy theories about
Sure.
what goes on there. There's like a giant like owl statue that they like pray to.
Oh, that's in real life
I don't know
too?
if they pray to, I don't know if they
Yeah.
pray to it, but they like, they
Oh.
burn effigies to the owl statue for like success and to,
Yeah.
Sure.
that
It-
kind of thing.
It kind of goes back to the old like pagan lore, like almost Celtic lore, where like you sacrifice something to a deity, you get something in return. I think Alex Jones actually went over there during one of their ceremonies and videotaped it. You can find it online.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, and then he got a lot of heat for it afterwards, because he knew some of the people that went there, because like it's like presidents and high echelon people.
Yeah,
That's why the
Reagan,
conspiracy
Nixon.
theories for it were so insane. Like Tyler is saying, it's kind of like a summer camp. They all just go there and kind of hang out and do whatever they do, gossip, court of owls type shit.
sure.
But it's a real place. I think it's still being used. It's like a restricted site, but like, believe what you want to believe. But I love that they took inspiration from that. I thought that was a really cool touch.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. It's basically like Fight Club. Like you only talk about
Yeah.
Bohemian Grove, or you don't
If
talk
you're
about
in it,
Bohemian
yeah.
Grove outside of Bohemian Grove, And
Right.
so, yeah, no,
It's
what were you gonna
basically
say, Tyler?
it's basically Burning Man for like famous rich guys.
Fucking
For
Burning Man.
echelons, yeah.
Burning Man. Wow. Okay, so Jack Delroy has been rumored to be associated with the Grove in the movie, which is basically just like the same thing we just said. Like, even so much as like the giant owl statue that these guys like pray to.
Which
Now,
I don't know why. Sorry to cut you off here, but I
No,
just
you're good.
realized that his show is like Night Owls.
Ooh,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
A
okay.
lot of owl correlation, yeah.
I didn't even put that together. I watched it twice this week, and I didn't even put that together till just now.
I didn't think about that till you just said that. Yeah, that's a good point. But even at these Grove meetings, because there is some kind of like videotapes there, so it shows, and I don't know if that's for just like audience cinematic purposes or was there actually found footage there. I guess it really doesn't matter either way. You see in these footage of this happenings that Xandor Diabo guy, right? The same dude who we talked about was the occult leader over at the Satan house where Lily was found. So he's double whammying it, right?
Right.
But you don't really make that connection. And they don't explicitly say it's something you got to think about in hindsight. So going into, like I said,
Well,
so they're going to. No, go
Lily
on.
also mentions, seeing him amongst the tall trees, which is a callback to the Grove.
Right. Because, well, the demon inside her, right, says that.
Right,
Like
well,
Lily Notabraxis says that as well. So going into that last bit where he's like playing back footage and Carmichael or whatever, and yeah, it all starts to come out.
You see a little bit of like disturbance in the video, and Jack has him slow down the video, back it up, and play like frame by frame until you see the ghost of his wife in one of the frames.
Which is pretty crazy. He caught that on one frame of the camera.
I think he just caught the disturbance. I don't think he knew it was going to be his wife.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then once Carmichael sees that, to him, it's solved. He goes, "Oh, I see what happened now. You're in on it. You're in on it. You planted this video footage. You did all this. You orchestrated this whole thing."
Even so much as having Christoph say Minnie was the spirit reaching out to him, which Delroy admitted was his private nickname for his wife Madeline.
Right.
So you're right. Carmichael's like thinks he's figured it out, and he's like,
He
Christoph was
latched
in
onto
on
that
it.
as soon as it came up.
Yeah. You're sleeping with June. This is all just one big setup, and then it shows up, and it turns out that it's not right.
Right.
Like
Then he gets proven wrong almost immediately.
Be real. Well,
gets proven wrong. Which, like I said, man, it gets crazy here.
Well, you can see Jack start to like disassociate as like the world's crumbling around him as he sees the ghost of his dead wife. And then you see Lily kind of doubled over, and Dr. June is assisting her. Carmichael's going up on his spiel.
He's kind of lost control at this moment here. It's a moment of like confusion and chaos.
He's like, somebody help her. He's just like, he's not in the show anymore.
Yeah.
He's in his own head.
Everything's coming to a head. Everything's getting ready to boil over. Chaos is about to ensue.
And then there we go.
Then
Lily.
you start getting the electricity effects coming in, and her head splits open, and she starts shooting laser beams at everybody.
Dude, yeah. Like Lily goes full Notabraxis, and like Tyler said, dude, like electricity starts flowing along these lines. It like travels up her. She kind of looks like a superhero at one point. She's got like currents coming out of both hands, and she's like whatever.
Well, it's almost like she's being pulled because like one is up in the air,
maybe
one's down.
Maybe that's what it was.
It's like kind of jerking around, and then that's when her head splits.
Dude.
And that the energy or the entity or whatever it is just pulsating through the freaking center of it.
It was dude, it was like a crazy fucking fire demon thing. Like it looked
it was
awesome.
It was different, and I liked it. It was kind of a cool approach.
Yeah, so
to
she starts eliminating people on that show, right? Starting with
Gus.
Gus.
Man,
Good
poor
old
dude.
Gus, dude.
He
Gus, Gus
The
does
real victim
old,
of the whole movie.
for
yeah.
for real. Yeah. No, you're right. He's the one that said, "Hey, we should rethink this. We should pull the plug.
Oh,
Something's not
geez,
right."
fellas, I don't think we should be playing with this.
Yeah,
She
the only sound mind on the whole set.
she she whipped his head around, right? She broke his neck,
Yeah, twisted
completely
his head
180'd it.
around.
And then he
And
falls into the table.
and
Yeah.
when I see that specifically, like a quick like motion and then like your head is like ringed around or whatever, I always go back to the I believe it's Guardians of the Galaxy, where Ronan the Accuser does
No.
that to Thanos's like six-fingered weirdo henchman that's like trying to grill him, and he's just like and like beats his neck around. I always think that's a cool effect because it's quick, it's simple, you're dead, right? There's no living
Yeah.
to it.
I loved Carmichael like holding up the check like it was like
Here,
a cross
here,
to ward off
here.
the demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take the
Did
money,
he-
take the money.
Well, if you
Did-
watch him, sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
No, I'll go. Yeah, I was gonna say, does he? Because June tried to use the cross, right, and say some stuff. Did Carmichael try that too?
She tries to use like this like weird rune thing that she using to like knock her out of like the possession or whatever, but like she levitates it, like rings it around her neck and hangs her with it before it like rips open her throat. But if you notice, like as soon as that happens, as soon as she goes airborne, Carmichael just like drops to his knees and he's just like, "Oh God, forgive me," and everything starts kind of like praying to it, like don't hurt him. Pulls a Benny from the mummy, whips out a check, and is just like, like don't attack me, I'm good. Then does the old abracadabra trick, fries it up.
I loved her abracadabra line right there.
Yeah, I did too. I thought that was really cool.
Did she say that?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
It's kind of subtle.
As she like fries Carmichael or whatever?
As
Or,
she
like,
disintegrates
right
the
before.
check, she
Oh,
makes the
okay.
check disappear and she says abracadabra.
I didn't hear that.
Because
a little before.
they had mentioned
Yeah.
that Abraxas is where the term abracadabra comes from. So
Right.
she kind of reuses that line on him.
Oh,
So
okay.
good.
Yeah, I didn't
So-
catch
so
that.
awesome. There's a lot of subtlety in this movie that you really don't catch on the first viewing.
Sure,
And I love
Yeah, you
that.
almost
It
kinda
makes
have
it
to
more
watch it.
rewatchable.
Yeah.
for sure. Like I said, even my second time being 6, 7, 8 months from my first, I like knew the results. I just needed to pay more attention to the setup on this,
Mhm.
and I was definitely able to on this time around because I knew what was coming. But you're right. This is almost a second watch movie. And so as she's killed everyone on the stage. Everyone on the stage with him is dead. The audience
Yeah,
is like running out all over. Oh my God, we're panicking. Jack Delroy starts. I think he kind of gets like he's reliving some moments or like getting flashbacks of his life. We're piecing together now the twist with Jack Delroy and the Grove and Abraxas. All three of those are now streamlining into one twist here, right? And you find out Jack's. Oh, Tyler, yeah, what do you?
At this point, the show is over, right?
Yeah.
So like I was saying earlier, the meat of the show the meat of the movie is the show, and then the beginning is like the background, and then the ending is like off screen. I think the cameras have all. We even get a screen that says, it's like one of those like technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
And then it like starts melting, and then that's like I think that's the signal of like the show's over. Now we're inside of Jack's head, and he's kind of getting like his life flashing before his eyes, kind of thing. But like everything's wrong. You know what I mean? Like he goes into old skits from the show, and she's like doing the Sabretooth stew bit, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" She's like, "I don't think that's how we rehearsed it." And she's like, "Jack, we're still on TV. We're still live."
Yeah, his inability to accept reality and everything for what it is and what has happened in his life. He just puts up that front of being like, I don't accept any of it, and this is him being forced to accept it or being forced to deal with it. And it culminates with him. It goes through the notions of him, how he got to, got Night Owls going, the Grove, everything like you said. And then it comes to him meeting his wife and coming to her bedside and kind of like trying to find a resolution with her. Because you find out that initially for him to gain the successful show that he did end up getting, which I'll swing back to later.
Yeah, we'll swing back to that.
So he made a deal with the execs and with the Grove to become powerful and famous with the show, but in order to do so, he had to sacrifice his wife, essentially. And out of nowhere, bing bang boom, she gets cancer. She's a non-smoker. It's not looking well. She dies, and he just kind of comes back after a month like nothing happened. And this is him coming to terms with like what he did and what he chose to do. He chose to give up everything of his to get what he wanted, and it's not going well for him. And she asks him to be released, more or less, right? She's like,
put an end to the pain, the suffering. Yeah.
And so he does. And if you notice, when he stabs her with the dagger.
The same dagger they had on the show earlier as like was it a prop or was it actually from that satanic house?
I think from the cult.
I think it was from the cult, but even I think that would be evidence, but
You're right.
They definitely just wing that thing around like it's nothing. Like later on, he used it to like cut her out of the straps and stuff. He just used it like freely. But yeah, so he uses that to end her life, so to say, and then bam, snaps right back to reality. He could just killed Lily on live TV, and so he snaps out of it really abruptly. And he's like, "Oh, whoa, what the fuck?" Like he's like beside himself. He's like looking around. He's trying to figure out what's going on, and then immediately he just starts. He starts. I can't remember exactly what he says, but he starts saying the line that Carmichael said to like snap everybody out of it.
Something dreamers dream.
It's all a thing.
Dreamers awake, I believe.
Oh, something.
Yeah, dreamers awake. Yeah, he just keeps repeating it, hoping that it's going to be like it's just a dream, and the reality is no, that is the reality. Like he just woke up or just became accustomed to it.
Yeah, that's a really good like sobering moment of like it's like silent in the studio. You see the bodies on the stage. He's just stabbed Lily, and then in the background you hear the faint like sirens. Like I don't actually think that part was on live TV because like they had I would think
they would have
to. I think they would have
shut off by then. Yeah, but I
think
it's insinuated.
You even look at the cameras on the stage, like one of them's like face down. It's not like. So I don't know if that part was on national TV. Like you don't really get to hear if he ends up going to jail for it or whatever, because like the stuff that did air was obviously like Lily like freaking out and killing everybody. So
yeah, for sure.
But
so I mean, you could definitely argue self-defense on that.
Yeah, she was possessed, man. I didn't know what to do. Her head was split.
Yeah, because I had forgot the station difficulty screen, and then like melted because you're right. That's kind of like it turns off. But then I was under the impression him killing Lily was live on TV. But then I was wondering how did how did it start recording again? But I guess the demon thing could have done that. I mean, I'm not, but
well, if you noticed, it's very brief and it's very quick. And so it happens right at the part where it's like Lily just like killed everybody. She fried, what's his face, the skeptic. She killed the doctor. Jack's like fumbling out of like the sliding door, whatever that thing is. He's like fumbling through that. And as soon as he goes through it, like Lily's like weird demonic face looks into the camera. And it's to be assumed that it was free enough to like go through the camera, because when it goes to, you see it like go through the camera and then it cuts to like the technical difficulties or whatever, and then that's when we're in like Jack's like dreamscape-topia of horror.
Dreamscape-topia.
Yeah, so I think it's supposed to by the end of it, Lily's dead, the demons like unleashed upon the world, and Jack Delroy is going to get the fame and recognition that he wanted, but not what he deserved or what he was expecting.
Because
it's almost like a monkey's paw kind of thing.
Kinda, yeah.
The end
he gets what he wanted, but it's not really what he wanted.
The end had to have been on live TV because that's what's going to make his show get the ratings he wanted, but not how he wanted. Was my take on it. Like,
I guess that's true.
Because he spent the year declining after he's already made this pact with this demon. So, but then he's like, okay, man, this isn't happening. So then unbeknownst to him, this demon's got this, because this demon was setting him up this whole show. Christu, coming out during the first summoning, I took it as it's live TV. He killed her. So not only with the demon shit, the host just killed that chick and this is live on TV, that's how he's going to get the ratings and like the publicity and stuff he wanted, just not how he wanted or how he thought it was going to be. Real
Well-
quick, so Derek, you said, did they say something about if you see the demon in its form, you become possessed or some shit? Is that or like a line similar? So when the demon showed itself coming out of her head, everyone who saw it was now going to be something. Am I just making this shit up? Did this not happen?
I think what it was implying is that the demon is if you acknowledge the demon or see the demon in like, I don't know if it's like pure form, whatever the case may be, but if you see it, you can be linked to it. It can like
Okay.
possess you, kind of thing,
Okay.
or make
Did
you
they-
more susceptible, kind of thing. Like, because you're aware of it, it's aware of you,
Sure.
and
Did
that
they
kind of thing. I
explicitly
think
say that in the movie?
I don't think they explicitly say it. I think that's just kind of implied.
I thought they.
Because I don't remember hearing them say it, but
Yeah,
that's
I don't know.
kind of how I
Maybe.
took it when everything started popping off. But
Sure.
because if you're a demon, you're possessing Lily, then what would stop you from possessing somebody else?
Sure. Why couldn't you just body hop or like whatever?
Right? Yeah. Just pull
Well-
a Jason and just start jumping bodies.
Well, I think there was like rituals and stuff to get the demon to possess
Right,
Lily,
exactly.
like all the stuff in the cult before they burned the cult down.
Well,
So I don't think demons
Sure.
can just body hop. But maybe
even
I
at
don't
the
know.
end of it,
True.
Jack ended up performing a ritual to a sense because one, he killed her with a dagger. He sacrificed a kid for the demon or whatever, right?
Ooh,
He's a follower because he's part of the grove.
good way of looking at that.
So it's
Making
like
a
he
lot of
did
good
it
points.
unintentionally without even like wanting to, or was being forced to. He just did it out of, I guess, influence. But
with the ceremonial dagger, you're making some good points.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't think about that, man. Good points. I do have a question. So, when Jack makes this deal with whatever demon, right? Is it explicitly state, like, did he make the deal knowing his wife was going to be the one to pay for his success? Or was it just something like, hey, we'll get you success, don't you worry? And then unknowingly to him, it was the wife. Like, when she got sick, was he like, oh man, this is the start of that deal? Or did it take him by surprise? I was kind of confused on like how much input he actually had on the wife. And I guess it ultimately doesn't matter whether it was a surprise or whether it was planned. Either way, it had the same intent of she's following so I can succeed. What do you guys think on that?
I read something about the lore behind like demon deals where after you make a deal, you have like 7 years before the payment comes due. And
Okay.
if you look at like when his show started versus when his wife died,
6 years.
it was like 7 years. Well,
Yeah.
because she died a year before this
Yeah, he had-
episode.
He had 5
And
years,
it
took a month
It's like
off. and then he went
69 to, I don't know. Anyway, it was supposed to be like 7 years.
Yeah, either way.
I kind of got both impressions at different times that maybe he did know that it was going to be her. And then I got the impression another time that he didn't know what the cost was going to be. Just
Sure.
that there would be a cost, maybe.
I was confused. Yeah, go on, Derek.
I was gonna say I thought it was just kind of more something like he didn't know outright. I don't think he thought it was going to be outright what happened, but I think deep down he knew, kind of thing, like in his gut, he knew that like it had to have some kind of ties back to the grove or to the deal or whatever. But as to her like immediately getting cancer, like that kind of would have been a red flag either way. Like for someone who's not a predominant, I don't think she's even a smoker. I think they said she's a non-smoker, and she ends up getting like lung cancer, like high level lung cancer. So it's like if that just happened out of like the blue after me just getting everything, there's never going to be a point in time where I was like, well, that was strange. Like talk about a weird point. Like, and it sounded like he kind of didn't deviate. Like he helped take care of her and her health and stuff, but it wasn't like the show went out the window. Like his ambitions were still there. And I think that's kind of what's supposed to be implied to like why he doesn't address the shit he does that he's supposed to address like a normal human being. He just stows it back in the back of his crevices of his mind and just doesn't think about it. But I feel like he did know outright, but he deep down he knew something was off. I don't know how
Well,
he couldn't.
They almost make that part of his character of like willing to sacrifice everything for the show. because like he sacrifices his wife, obviously, and then he's also kind of sacrificing Dr. June. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're
Like
right.
he's like, I want to be part of this with you, but really he's just using, from what I gathered, he's just using her to ride her to more fame. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like
she
it's
even
almost
she even
happening
calls him.
again. Like he used his wife, and now he's using Dr. June as like
Yeah,
stepping stones to like further his career,
and she
all
calls him
while
out for it
pretending
too.
that he cares about them. And
Yeah.
it's almost like he uses his status and his looks to like use these women to further himself.
Yeah, and even so much as like trying to like, hey, this is gonna help my show and it's gonna help sell your book. So
Right.
we should like you should be a regular. And I think even the either Leo or Leon or whatever the guy backstage who he keeps talking to, even he was like, when can we get her back? Like we can make this just a regular thing. And that's when she's like, even she's realizing like, you're not in it for us. You're in it for Lily and
Yourself.
the ratings and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Well, he endured his wife passing, and then it went another year on the show with terrible ratings to get to this night where this awful shit happens, and then your ratings and your fame and stuff is going to be where you wanted, just not how you wanted. That's quite a deal, man. Like maybe after the wife passed, he spent a year, like, because I said in that 1 year up to now, he was doing like a lot of outlandish shit on the show, just having like, more wild and crazier acts and stuff to try and get these ratings. Maybe that's like his like backup plan. Like, well, if I just get all these crazy acts, people will tune in and want to watch and my ratings will go. And then ultimately you ended up putting yourself at a new low, really, before this event happens. And then your ratings are going to go up. You're going to get your 5-year deal, whatever, right? Yeah, huh. There's a little ambiguity in the movie, which I don't think is a bad thing.
I think it's on purpose.
Oh, yeah, agreed, 100%.
Yeah,
It's
And
to get the people talking.
yeah, there you go. Get the chatterboxes.
And here we are talking about it.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, right. Yeah, here we are talking about it. Yeah, that was cool. Hey, real quick, what was one of you guys talked earlier about the dude in the audience that was like really funny, that old guy, they're like, he's like, "Go about your wife," and he's like, "Oh, she ran off with my whatever," like many years ago, right?
Well, he
So
was
the
like,
guy,
did
the
she
guy
passed
next to
on?
him,
And he's like, well, you could say that.
yeah, there you go. That was the line. What was up with the skull
yeah.
dress dude next to him? Like it kept showing this
Uh,
skull kid. Was there like a sign or like a subtle something that I was missing with this, or like was it just like, hey, I'm a skull kid. I'm gonna sit here just like deadpanning the show for no reason. What's up with that? Do you guys know? I don't know. It was weird.
I think it was just kind of like a not like an omen, but kind of like what's to come, like kind of foreshadowing type of thing.
Sure,
I saw like a lot of online talk saying that like that was the devil, and it was like I don't think so.
I'd
Um,
seen that too,
but
and I was
like
like, no way.
or like even go as far as say like that's the Grim Reaper, that's death. But I think it's just like one of the
Okay.
many things of symbolism that they like kind of throw throughout the whole movie. I don't know if it has like real ties or anything sufficient.
I think in his flashback, you see the guy in the
See him
costume
there.
doing something with like the cult members or something. But
Yeah,
I don't know if that is really like, I don't know if that's what he's supposed to be. Like he's one of them, maybe in disguise. I, I do know
Yeah,
it was like the coolest skeleton costume I've ever seen.
I agree. Yeah,
I
100%.
was like, oh, where do I get that?
well they
I was kind of interested in purchasing that skeleton costume.
in the nightmare that Jack's having during that, it's supposed to insinuate that I've also read that it's supposed to insinuate that the audience is also supposed to be at that point part of the cult too. Like when because you meet the old Diablo dude, you meet the people from the Grove, including the giant freaking owl and all
Right.
the owl squawking they're doing. Just for no reason. Then you have the skeleton dude and all the audience members kind of like it's like they're all in on it almost in like this weird nightmare of his. So I thought that was kind of a cool approach too. But we mentioned how he made this deal, but it doesn't really work out for him in the end. Why is that? Like the dude sacrificed everything only to just be number 2 and still fail. I couldn't understand if it was strictly because everybody else of the Grove seemed to be doing well. Johnny Carson's doing well. I don't know if he's a part of the Grove or not, but it's like it's to insinuate that like people who go to the Grove are successful, but this is like the only schlub who can't do it. Like, or
Well,
was it all like that? Or was that always supposed to be the case? Like the Grove used him for that kind of purpose.
Well,
I didn't.
yeah, I was
think
a
about
little
them.
confused of like, was the deal to get that original fame, like you're saying, Derek, but where he's still second fiddle to Carson? Maybe Carson's part of the Grove, who knows? Or
That'd be cool.
was the final payoff, like Chris was saying, after the sacrifice of Lily on TV? Is like that when he's going to blow up and get his recognition, or at least notoriety? Like, which one was the reward for the deal?
Like, I know they don't have social media back then, obviously, but like, think about that time, that episode, you'd make every newspaper in America. Like,
Yeah.
fucking, I don't want to say mass murder on live TV, but like possession, death, live TV, because they didn't, I don't know that they had the like delay that like the studio audience has over like the American audience, kind of, I think there's like a little bit of delay or something like that. So like you would have made every headline, you would have been all over the place, and that is achieving the fame and recognition you wanted, but just not what for you wanted. Plus it's a demon. I mean, like, there's no fucking way that you're going to make a deal with it and end up on the positive side. You know what I mean? Like, that
Yeah.
demon was going to strip what you love, and your life, essentially. You're not physically for him, he's alive, but obviously now his bitch ass is going to be, incarcerated or, put on trial for murder.
Well, I think during this time in history, there was a lot of like what they refer to as satanic panic.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of
Yeah.
like cult stuff going on, a lot of like people just being scared of the occult and like the devil and stuff like that. So I think it would just be another story in history, similar to like Jonestown or
Ooh.
any of those cults that like, did the mass suicides or whatever. This is
Heaven's
more of a
Gate,
mass
yeah.
homicide, but we would definitely be hearing about it now.
Oh,
I wonder if the footage would be available. Like this is unique compared to those other things because it was on live TV. I mean, I think there is recordings of that final day of Jonestown. Like I've heard the audio for that where he's giving his speech telling everyone they got to kill
oh
themselves.
shit, dude.
Yeah.
And there's people in the room like, no, Jim Jones, he's a good man. We got to listen to him. He wants what's best for us. And there's other people like, there's kids here. We can't do this. That audio exists, and I've heard it, and so I wonder if we would be seeing the footage now. I wonder if that would be something that would be available.
Oh, I mean, nowadays it would undoubtedly be on social media minutes after that happened. I mean,
Yeah, I'm talking about like if this happened in the 70s, would we now have access to it? Or would they
Probably.
You could find it somewhere, probably. Like
Well,
a
I
copy
don't
of a
know.
copy or something like that, I don't know.
Well, in the 70s, VHS wasn't a thing yet, was it?
It was just coming out in the 70s.
Okay.
Right. So it's like maybe someone,
Betamax, I think, was the first.
right? Someone's got a Betamax cut of this thing, and then it gets digitized and copied. So maybe we would be able to see it, but
Sure.
end up on Faces of Death or whatever. But.
Yeah, I imagine someone would be showing it somewhere, then someone would have like their own camera recording them what, you know what I mean? Like it'd probably be second, third, fourth, fifth hand and like really shitty, but I'm glad you could, if anything, the audio, maybe would have survived after all these years.
Even in the very beginning, the narrator speaks as like the footage we're seeing is the original tapes, like unaltered, unedited, all that kind of thing. So like, I mean, maybe we're to assume that's exactly what's going on. Like we're checking them out in a later time, finally watching it for the first time, seeing what went down that night.
That'd be kind of cool. That would have been cool if they did take that approach, that they had like a quick thing in the beginning of people be like, hey, I found this, unaired episode of this old show, like whatever. That would have been kind of a cool approach. But yeah, you're right. It does kind of make it seem like it's like presenting it in some way, like you said, this is the unedited whole taping of this, whatever. And I thought it was really cool. Yeah, super cool.
I'm glad we got a full movie out of it, but this would almost make a good segment on like a VHS movie.
Yeah, most definitely. That's what it kind of felt a lot like that, to be honest. And with it being, it's part of Shudder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shutter's
Well,
at least some kind of producer on it.
yeah. So it's part of Shutter, and so is VHS. So they're both in the same vein, and they both have like stellar segments. So like it definitely would fit perfect. But I'm like you. I'm glad we got a full movie of it.
Agreed. I do want to talk about some controversy that came out around this time of the movie that I had actually heard on a podcast shortly after I watched this the first time. And like, I didn't know it while watching the movie, but upon hearing it in this podcast, I was like, oh man, I guess this is kind of a big deal. And it's that this movie used I would say a very minimal amount of AI, right? Artificial intelligence. You've heard it.
Yep.
You know the acronym, you know the word. It's all over America and the world nowadays. It's involved in pretty much everything. And this movie used a little bit of it, I think. And I think got some pushback.
I think it was
Am I
like
right?
I think it was like 3 or 4 images. It's the
Title
if I'm
card,
correct,
right?
it's like the title card, like transition.
Happy Halloween or whatever, like the owl and the stuff, like the shit you'd see right before they go to commercial or like right coming back from commercial. You're right. It's maybe 4 or 5 times. Maybe.
Yeah, the bumpers.
Yeah.
I
Well, there you
didn't
go.
know about I didn't know yeah, it's good. I didn't know about the controversy on my first viewing or my second viewing, but I remember the first time I watched it this week, because I've seen it 3 times now. The second time I watched it, which was the first time this week, I saw those title cards, the bumpers or whatever, and I was like, I did kind of like something about it looked a little off. I thought maybe AI, but then they show up and go away so quick that I didn't really think about it. Then I saw the thing about the AI, watched it for the third time, and like really paid attention to it, and I paused it on a couple of the screens, and a few of them look fine. I didn't really have a problem with it. There's one image, and maybe I'll send it to you, Chris, if you want to pop it up on the screen. You can. It's up to you. It's like a skeleton and some pumpkins.
Yeah.
And if you really look at it, it looks bad. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
when you
The
focus on
skeleton's
it, yeah.
face is like warped, and the pumpkins are kind of warped.
The hands.
So I have less of a problem that they used the AI, and more of a problem with that it was bad.
Sure. Yeah. If you're going to
Like,
use it, make it good, you know?
and this was a couple years ago, before the technology has gotten as far as it has now. I think if you did that now, you'd get a lot better results. This was a kind of low budget movie. I saw an interview with the main actor, and he was talking about how the production crew was all excited about this new tool that they were trying out, and he's talking about the AI. And he was like, we never really saw it as like anything that controversial. It was just new tech that we were getting our hands on, and we wanted to play around with it. And there was nothing like, they weren't trying to like cut people's jobs or
No, I agree.
Yeah.
it was just,
Or-
we used to record on film. Now we record digitally. Things used to be black and white. Things used to not have sound. With all these like technological advances, it's like, who's to say where we stop? Like, is there a point in history where technology stopped being good?
Even,
Like, should we go back to film?
well, look at
Go on.
computer generated images, which are
Yes.
in, I'm going to say, I don't know, a majority of movies, a lot of movies. Like
say
every
every movie.
blockbuster uses it. Actors are filming on sets where it's just them and complete green screens or blue screens. Nothing is fucking real in that whole image. But yet they're selling that to you in theaters like those actors were there and this is happening, whatever, and that's part of a movie. But like, to me, I don't. Now, should AI be applied to everything in life? Absolutely not, right? It's got its limits just like everything else in life does. But I didn't see the issue with using it for what they used it for in this movie, right?
Yeah, it was 10 to 30 seconds of the whole
Oh,
movie.
max. Yeah, for sure. They're quick little cards. I
I don't think
didn't see
I
the
don't think
issue.
it took away from the movie.
Neither did I.
To me, it's
I
fine.
actually
Who cares?
thought the images were cool, and I guess I know I didn't pause it like you did, and I guess I kind of noticed the skeleton maybe looked a little weird in the 2 seconds I saw it, but like I attributed it to just the art style of like how the bumpers were gonna look, and B, it's like the 70s. So like think of like skeletons you draw now don't look exactly like skeletons they used then, like pumpkins and different stuff. I thought it was just like a cool little art style for these bumper cards. I didn't have a problem with it. Now, let's say David Dasmalchian couldn't make it to set one day and they're like, we're going to AI his whole body in
His whole
this scene.
performance.
God
Right.
damn you.
There we have problems, right? You're taking work away from the actor, and like you get into that whole bit, whatever. I, the controversy seems a little silly to me. Am I wrong?
I agree completely.
I feel like I'm on the same page with you guys. Like, yeah, I acknowledge that it's there. I don't think they should use it for everything, but it was so minimal. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah,
I think what people are ultimately worried about is what you just said, Chris, is where like actors are completely going to be AI generated. And
sure.
I think there's already studios that have started moving towards like AI actors and actresses. And then there's also like, okay, so like I could picture a future where you log on to Netflix and then you got your options of movies, or you click on an option that says generate your own movie. And then it says, what genre would you like? And you click horror, and then it's like, what subject? And you go supernatural. And then it's like, what's the plot? And you type in a little prompt, and then it goes, boom, give me 5 seconds. Here's an hour and a half supernatural movie starring Liam Neeson and Betty White. You know, she's back. I think that's what people are worried about. But I
I've
think
watched
there's
this movie.
also, yeah, I think there's
Yeah,
also like
I'd buy
something
it.
to be said for like AI being something that like everyone can access. So like it may even make the barrier to entry even lower. So there's there's different
Sure.
pros and cons to it, just like everything. I think the biggest worry with AI is like not in the movie industry, but more like not being able to trust what you see in like the news and. Uh,
Mass
For sure.
media, yeah.
so to me, like everything else, like CGI, like people can still complain about CGI versus practical effects. But then I think that may give some people an advantage to say, we're rejecting AI. We're rejecting CGI. We're going strictly practical effects, you know? And it's like, you know, that could make a movie stand out. If you look back to like when Kevin Smith made Clerks, you know, he made it black and white. Color film existed. So it's like, you know, that'll lend itself to like creative choices and different stuff like that. And you know, people are paying attention to AI stuff pretty closely now. So eventually society will agree on what we will and will not tolerate. I mean, kids growing up now will have different opinions than like
Oh yeah.
older people. But, you know, the industry is always changing and the old movies, they're not going away. You can always rewatch those. Um, I get why people are hesitant about it, but I also get why people are excited about new technology and wanting
Sure.
to try things out. So, you know, there's really, it's really more of a nuanced issue than people like to make it seem, I think.
I mean, we were even talking on Mickey 17 about like that cloning process. Yeah, he was like, we promise we're not going to use this for evil or bad or like whatever. But hi, someone already did. There's always going to be people that takes this new thing that can be used, I'll say maliciously, right? Whatever. There's always going to be those people that can, will, and want to do that. And then there's those on the other side that's like, hey, this has real applicable uses that we can benefit X, Y, and Z. And I don't think the AI bumper cards ruined this movie. Like, if that was your biggest issue with this movie, then you didn't have an issue with this movie in my book. Like,
Right.
Well, a lot of
Yeah.
them were word based too, so it wasn't even like they were like misspelled words or anything. It was just like that one funky skeleton and some other things that kind of images that kind of would
for sure.
look the
Right.
worst. But
The same people type in the angry comments online are using like spell correct and stuff, which is like just a rudimentary form of AI. You know?
Ooh, yeah,
yeah,
good point. I didn't think about that.
that's pretty valid.
So, and to me, this movie was like a shining light in the darkness of a bunch of flops that had come out, you know? Like we're just coming out of
Yeah.
like COVID where we had like kind of a drought. And then there was like, when there like a writer's strike. And it was like
Yeah.
the industry was kind of suffering
Right.
for a while, I felt like. And I feel like this was like the first step maybe towards getting us back on track to having good movies again. I think this year we've had a bunch of cool horror movies. I'm blanking on some of the other ones, but there's been some really good horror coming out lately, and I think that maybe we're trending in a good direction, and maybe like give this one a little bit of a break. You know, I heard the lead actor talking about how he was nervous. He was like, "We made a great movie, and I was kind of scared that nobody was going to see it." And I think it ended up being like a standout film.
I guess outside of you guys, I don't know a lot of other people that have seen this movie, but I guess I probably don't talk to a whole lot of people specifically about horror movies, even though it's Halloween and they should get on the train, but whatever. But final thoughts on this movie. I'm going to say, Tyler, I think you're right. Like this is maybe my favorite horror movie I've watched, new one that I just watched recently, in a good long while. This was super cool, super creative, super original. It's got a cool aesthetic. It super keeps you intrigued the whole time. Like I was intrigued the whole time. From hearing like the backstory, and then you're like, okay, where's this gonna go? And then you got Kristoff, and then you got Carmichael Haig, and then you got June and Lily, and then the climax. Super well done. I thought this was a great film. But you guys think
What do
you
you?
got ratings?
What's your rating out of 5? Out of 5 stars, what do you give it?
You know, I'm gonna give it 5 stars, man.
I like that.
I'm gonna give it 5.
Nice.
I will set the bar high for you gentlemen.
I'm going to give it a 4. While it didn't quite, like, while I liked it and I loved it, I just think, man, there could have been so much more with it. Like, if it continued on or something would be really cool to see. But
For sure.
yeah, good solid 4 out of 5 would definitely be what it's worth for me.
Okay. Tyler, what about you, man?
Oh man, I love this movie. I've thought about it a lot since I first saw it. I think it was like a year and a half ago, and I've told a lot of people about it. Like you said, it's a really cool concept. Like to me, concept is a big deal when I'm looking for a movie, because we've seen the same stuff over and over again with like slashers and a lot of even like possession stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it was interesting to see a different take. I think that it was a little bit of a slow build, but I think this kind of movie warranted it. It wasn't the scariest, but that doesn't really matter to me that much. I'm more in it for like a good story. And
Absolutely.
when I first watched it, I gave it a 4. I think this time I paid a little bit closer attention, and I think I ended up at a 4.5, 4.5 stars.
Okay. All right.
I'm right
Nice.
in between
All
you
right.
guys, but
Solid.
I can't even really think of anything that would elevate it to a 5. I mean, to me, it's gonna go down as one of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty high up on the list for me too, I think. It didn't need to be a gore fest. I mean, there was a little bit of like blood and gore and stuff. Didn't need to be a gore fest. It didn't need to, yeah, I don't know. It's just something different, some cool, something you don't see other movies like this. To film a whole like TV episode that went wrong, I think was really, really creative.
They're smart.
David Desmalchian brought it home. You know what I mean? Like just like the guy in The Last Exorcism, he's got like charm and a personality, and like he like encapsulated like a 70s like late night host perfectly. His mannerisms, how he kind of broke sentences apart, how like he would play off a situation, and kind of like shoot it back like a joke to the audience, or like ring Gus a little bit, because he's kind of like, to me, like the Andy Richter on the Conan show. You know what I mean? Like that
Exactly.
side funny guy that pitches
Right.
in and helps, whatever. Yeah, no, I thought this was really good. Do you guys watch this on Disney Plus? I
Yeah.
believe is
I
what it was
bought
on.
it. I
Oh,
watched it this time on Disney Plus, but I bought it originally
okay,
I
before
think
I
it's
watched it.
because we're right at the spot where Disney's about to abolish Hulu. I
right.
think it's technically on Hulu right now, but maybe even by the time this comes out, Hulu will be no more and it'll only be Disney Plus. Am I
Oh,
right on
okay.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the axing out Hulu part was maybe going to happen a little bit later, but
I
maybe
think
you're
it's this
right.
month. I could be wrong.
I think it's
Okay.
sooner than that. Yeah.
Okay.
They're cracking in on it pretty quick.
Either way, it is streaming. I think the first time I watched this, I actually rented it from the library, which I actually did for this time before I realized it was on Disney Plus, and so now I just had the disc
No.
sitting there. But it is on Disney Plus or Hulu or whatever. It is streaming. It is available to watch. Hopefully they don't like pull some bullshit and like take it off and make you fucking pay for it before Halloween comes up. So by the time this comes
I think that's
out,
more of an Amazon move.
it's just an Amazon move. Maybe, yeah.
Thanks, Bezos.
Sure. It is available. It is very worth a check. All of us have given it a 4 up, which just, I mean, it's a sign, right? It just has to be. It's an omen, so to speak. And yeah, check it out, man. And if you like our review and you like what we're doing, check out our other content. Like, subscribe, follow. We're on Instagram, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on YouTube. You can find us. We're out there, and we implore you to. So, think outside the box office. Check out Late Night with the Devil when you get a chance, and we will catch you next time, guys.